What was that like for you? Let's go into that a little bit. So you arrived, you're Malaysian Chinese, sounded like you'd not really travelled widely beforehand. You move all the way to Northern Ireland to study something that you hadn't studied before, didn't know the culture that you were moving into, and you then experience what was called, as far as I understand, the Troubles. What was that experience like for you? What was it like on those first few weeks when you arrived in the country? What did you think? How did you feel?
It's funny, like I have been thinking about that because, now you ask me to do something like that, I probably would say, oh, maybe not. You think too much when you're younger. You kind of don't think about anything like that. Yeah, I think apart from the only trip I have flew out internationally before that was to Perth and Bali. That was just holiday with my family. So that was the first time I flew to the UK on my own. And yeah, I got here and to Northern Ireland. It was good because they actually look after international students quite well. So they pick you up in the airport and have the student union or things like that. And there were a big group of Malaysians also in the hostel or the hall, student hall. Although they're probably a bit younger than me because I was like, a lot of them go there to do medicine. But I remember very, very vividly, like I went to register for the course and it was just a very, very small class. It's only 11 or 10 of us. A few of them already did Bachelor of Music Technology in Queen's Belfast already. So this is their stepping stone. So they have a group of friends. So there's a younger group, which is like 2 years younger than me. And then there's an older group. People like more mature students. I'm kind of in the middle, although I tend to kind of mix with the younger group as well. But I remember Northern Ireland have very strong Irish accent, Northern Ireland Irish accent. I couldn't really understand them. They were very, very nice, those course mates, and they were trying to talk to me because I was the only international student in the 10 or 11 people. I spoke English, but very much Malaysian English, and to be honest, like I don't think I can. I'm quite shy as well at the time, shy in a way that I'm not confident and not confident with my English and everything else. So it's kind of quite, I don't know, like I don't tend to think about that as memory, as it was hard at that point to communicate with my course mates. What was hard was my course itself, because like you say, I never studied. I play piano, but classical music, but I actually hated computer at the time. So I never liked doing programming or anything like that. And that course is, because it's master in music technology, they assume everyone can do programming already. So maybe 6 courses in the whole year, maybe 3 or 4 are actually programming related, Java and a super collider and, a lot of different type of programming language. So that's one thing already. They assume we already know. So they went straight into coursework. And I have no idea how to write hello world even. And then worst thing is actually I don't understand the lecturer's accent. So we have Northern Irish, Spanish, Portuguese, and American, but I just can't understand. I couldn't understand them, couldn't understand what they're teaching, and couldn't understand what the coursework was. So that was the hard part for me that I remember. If I recall the whole year, that was the hard part because I have to work so hard to understand what I need to do from the very beginning.
It's reminding me of something that I just saw on LinkedIn last night, and I won't be recalling it verbatim, but it was a picture of a gentleman who was holding up a piece of paper which I think said something to the effect of, if you hear an accent, that's the sound of bravery. And he was obviously an immigrant to wherever he was living at the time. And I think what you've just told us there is really a good example of the level of bravery you have to move all the way around the world to a country where you don't speak the language firsthand. And then you have to put in all this extra effort just to comprehend what is being asked of you to pass this course that you've invested your time and energy into.